The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
The following content contains adult language and humor that is not suitable for viewers under the age of 18. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. The views and opinions expressed during the following video content are those of the individual and may not reflect those of others.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and Merry Christmas Eve to one and all on this Wednesday, December 24th, 2025, for this edition of Pop Talk, where we will be watching both Ernest Saves Christmas and Elf over on the Kosmi side. But before we do that, I hope everyone is doing well on this Christmas Eve. Hope everyone who is celebrating has been able to get all their last minute Christmas shopping done, and maybe you're wrapping presents right now. Well, why not wrap presents over here on Pacific414 and watch two great movies? Now, I will admit, I've only seen Elf a couple of times, and it's not one of my favorite Will Farrell movies, but I know it is a favorite of a lot of people. So it is one of the reasons why I decided that there would be a watch party, including Elf, for this particular edition of Pacific414 Pop Talk. Of course, Ernest Saves Christmas. I saw that as a young lad back in 1988, and I loved it then. And, you know, on occasional rewatches, I still love it now. It's one of those timeless movies, and you just never forget it. I mean, you can never beat Jim Varney as Ernest P. Worrell, and of course, what else is there to say? But it's a great family film, just a great classic comedy film, and we are live, of course, on YouTube and Rumble for this Christmas Eve broadcast. So, everybody, I am going to go ahead and start our watch party here of Ernest Save Christmas. Again, if you would like to watch the movie, please join me over on the Kosmi side, and we will be watching this. Then we'll take a short break, and we will then watch Elf. And during that short intermission, I might discuss a few topics just to give folks enough time to get up, do whatever they need to do, and then come back and watch the movie. So, again, The Kosmi link is pinned to the top of the chat on YouTube and Rumble if you'd like to join. And I'm going to go ahead and press play right about now. Merry Christmas Eve to you, Lady Miss. It's good to see you. I hope the day has treated you well. Lady Miss, what are you going to be doing tomorrow during the Christmas holiday? That's how I was driving last night in Mafia. All the cast of characters. Yeah, Ernest might want to stop. Ernest has quite the knack as a cab driver, doesn't he? Getting luggage out of the trunk, get his passengers to their destination. Yeah, Ernest drives like a few people I know around my area. Yeah, I don't think Bobby's feeling too well with that crate on him. Mm. And there's poor old Bobby. And if you're just joining, the Kosmi link is pinned to the top of the chat. If you would like to watch Ernest Saves Christmas, that's the movie that we're watching right now. Yet after a short break, we will watch Elf. Hey, Jet. No, I'm not muted. I'm talking. I am a talking. I'm just also watching the movie too because I haven't watched it in so long. Just watching the movie and having a quiet Christmas Eve. Yeah, I'm sure they are. Well, like he said in the beginning, Santa's not ready for the job anymore. Now we need positive messages like that. I know I said it when we were watching the Santa Claus, but we do. We need to get back to that. Merry Christmas, brother. Good to see you, Lester. If you'd like to watch the movie, the Kosmi link is pinned to the top of the chat. Right now, we're watching Ernest Saves Christmas. Extra sensory perspiration. Yeah, that's one heck of a way to get fired from a job. You got a sack thrown at you, and you got a whole tree thrown at you. So, are you ready for the Christmas holiday, Lester? Of course, you're not going to believe him. Here's some facts about Ernest Saves Christmas. It was released on November 11th of 1988 and became the highest grossing film in the Ernest series with a domestic total of 28.2 million. The film was shot and produced almost entirely in Orlando, Florida, with locations including the then unfinished Disney MGM Studios and the Orlando Science Center. Douglas Seal, who played Santa Claus in the movie, also voiced the Sultan in Disney's Aladdin. The reindeer in the film were flown from Northern Ontario, Canada to Orlando, Florida, and were used in the film's production. And Ernest's only appearance in the entire film series was when he delivered a Christmas tree to his house. Well, actually, what it should have said is Vern's only appearance. I'm more or less prepped. Just can't forget to pack the gifts for my sibs and parents when I fly to SoCal. When are you flying to SoCal, brother? All right. Well, I wish you safe travels when you go, brother. And Lady Miss is saying hello to Jeff Sparks and Lester. And Vern's not going to be too happy if Ernest pulling out his electrical. His fingerprints are snowflakes. Of course, Joe Carruthers is played by Oliver Clark. And it looks like the last movie he was in was Ed back in 2003. I'm sorry, TV show. He was born on January 4th, 1939. And he was also on Walker, Texas Ranger. Murder One, A Diary of a Serial Killer, George and Leo, Total Security, Christmas in Cartoon Town, Land's End. He was in one episode of Full House. He was also on, looks like 3 episodes of Life Goes On, the TV show. He's also in an episode of The Golden Girls. And also in The Twilight Zone, Fall Guy, Growing Pains, just to name a few TV shows he was in. I don't think they're goats, dude. And Harmony is played by Noelle Parker. And she's, of course, known for this movie. She's known for playing Amy Fisher in Amy Fisher, My Story, At Close Range. She was also Veronica in Clerks. She was also in an episode of NYPD Blue. She was in 14 episodes of Sisters. And she was in one episode of Early Edition. Also Touched by an Angel. Jane, how you doing, brother? Merry Christmas, brother. I hope you and your family are doing well. If you like to watch a movie, if you can on your phone, the Kosmi link is pinned to the top of the chat. Hmm. Yeah, I didn't think that officer would believe him when he told him his age. And if you are just joining, the Cosme link is pinned to the top of the chat on YouTube and Rumble. All you got to do is click onto it, and you can watch the movie along with us. Shane says, "Hey, Lady Mist," and everyone just popping in to spread some merry tidings. Well, I appreciate that, brother, and I hope you and your family have a Merry Christmas tomorrow and also a Happy Christmas Eve tonight. Not too shabby of a place for Ernest. Simple for one man. Yeah, that's not a good thing to do, Ernest. Put your hands on the griddle. Hmm. Back when the news in the Star and Inquirer, you looked at it, you shook your head. Now you see stories online and in the news, and you just shake your head, thinking this kind of shit was in the Inquirer. All the inmates are saying, you're not going to get monetary value from that bag. Nice hairdos. One thing about the Ernest movies, and I said this when we watched Ernest Scared Stupid was it really showed the talent that Jim Varney had as an actor, especially with him being a trained Shakespearean actor, with all the different characters that he would portray in the movies. There's your man, Ernest. He's even got the inmates believing he is the real deal. Oh, there are people that believe in Santa Claus. Has anybody experienced any buffering or stuttering so far? My mom loved it when Jim Varney played the old woman. Hmm. Oh, she does. His agent's a swarmy guy. It's a good thing we have these subtitles. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to understand a word Ernest is saying right now. Hmm. The two Santas are sizing each other up. Don't do it, Joe. Don't open it. Yeah, Santa's gonna be in jail again. He just assaulted the director. Hey, that's a conversation starter. If I ever heard one. Looking at GoBots in that catalog. Look up. He's not gonna be happy with what she finds. There you go, Ernest. Now you actually do have some snakes. Ah, it's a telescope. You can look at the stars. And the bag is empty. And now she's trying to hide everything that she got out of the sack. Yeah, she could. That's a nice sentiment, but not too many people are able to trust others nowadays for their own reasons. And she has the real sack. Hmm. And the time keeps on clicking. Have any of you ever traveled on Christmas Eve? If you have, what was your experience like? Now that's two times someone knows his name at the airport. And Ernest, of course, has a remote for the gate. Wolvie, Merry Christmas, brother. I don't know if you have anything going on right now, but if you'd like to watch what remains of Ernest Saves Christmas, the Kosmi link is pinned to the top of the chat, brother. And Ernest and the elves have the reindeer all ready. And they're off. Everything's breaking on Ernest as he's trying to fly the sleigh. Six p.m. Ramble the Jets. I want to watch Elf. I can't watch it on because for some weird reason. Sorry about that, Jet. You see a lever and they tell you not to touch it. What are you going to do? You're going to touch it. See what it does. Let's open her up and see what she can do. Of course, you saw the time there on the sign. All it takes is a simple handshake to transfer the powers from one Santa to the next. The magic. Hmm. No, Joe, Santa does not have the sleigh. Ernest does. I know on rare occasions it has gotten cold in Florida. I just don't know how often it might have snowed. Careful with your orbit, Ernest. It's decaying. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what movies like this used to be. Movies like this were intended to allow you to suspend your, disbelief and just go with the flow. Mhm. All right. So this concludes our first movie. As soon as the scene's finished, so I'm going to stop this real quick. We'll take a short intermission, but during that short intermission, I am going to read an article as I also get Elf set and ready to go here. All right, so let me go ahead and pull up the article on the StreamYard side. It right there. So this actually comes from The Nerdy, and it's something I had seen last night before falling asleep. And I hope everyone enjoyed watching Ernest Saves Christmas. Let me see if I can get rid of that window. If not, I'll just deal with it. But this article from The Nerdy says Playmates is losing the TMNT toy license after 2026. That's a bigger problem than it sounds. And Playmates has had the rights to TMNT toys and has produced TMNT toys for almost 40 years. It says in this article by Sean P. Ong, which was posted just today, for the past few days, the headline floating around has been simple and dramatic. Playmates is losing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That reads like an ending. In reality, it is something more awkward and more revealing. This license does not vanish overnight. It runs through December 31st, 2026, with a standard sell-through window after that. The Turtles are not being yanked off the shelves tomorrow. The real story is not about timing panic. It's about what the license has been quietly doing for Playmates and what it says that it's not being renewed now. In Playmates' own disclosure, negotiations to renew the TMNT deal have been ongoing since October of 2025. That is not a casual chatter. That is months of back and forth. The end result was a clean no. The license expires at the end of 2026, and after a 90-day inventory sell-off period, Playmates' long run with the Turtles is over. If you stop reading there, it sounds like just another licensing shovel. If you keep going, the percentages tell you a very different story. In recent years, TMNT has not been a side hustle for Playmates. It's been the business. In 2023, Turtle products accounted for roughly 77% of the company's consolidated revenue. Even in the first half of 2025, the figure sat at 36%. Those are not nice to have numbers. Those are this keeps the lights on numbers. When a single licensed property swings that widely year to year, it tells you two things at once. First, TMNT can still hit big under the right conditions. Second, Playmates has struggled to stabilize the rest of the portfolio without it. This is where the ownership shift on the other side of the table matters. The licensor name in the filing is Viacom Media Networks, which is for most readers translates to Nickelodeon's side of the Paramount ecosystem. And Paramount has new owners now, which is kind of the kind of sentence that sounds abstract until you remember what it usually means in practice. New leadership means new priorities. Licensing deals are often the first place those priorities show up. Long-running relationships get reevaluated, margins get re-examined, familiar partners suddenly find themselves competing with companies that were not even in the conversation 5 years ago. From that perspective, the non-renewal feels less like a personal snub and more like a reset. Paramount is not walking away from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The brand is too valuable and too flexible for that. What they appear to be walking away from is the assumption that Playmates is automatically the best or only steward for it going forward. For a company that has been synonymous with TMNT toys for decades, that distinction stings. Playmate's statement does its Best to sound calm and forward looking. There is language about assessing impact, updating shareholders, and continuing to pursue licensing opportunities aligned with strategic considerations. That is exactly what you would expect from a formal disclosure. It is also where the unease creeps in. Power Rangers, Monsterverse, and Winx are all cited as existing product lines the company plans to keep building. None of them have come close to replacing the revenue spikes TMNT has delivered at its peaks. That does not mean those brands cannot grow. It does not mean the math is suddenly unforgiving. For fans and collectors, the immediate takeaway is more grounded than the internet reactions suggest. There is no reason to expect an abrupt cliff over the next 2 years. If anything, the countdown may encourage Playmates to finish strong. Longer term industry chatter is already drifting in prediction directions. Companies with stronger collector pipelines, companies with deeper global distribution muscle, or companies that can sync toy releases more tightly with streaming and theatrical plans are all being discussed. No names are confirmed, and anyone pretending otherwise is guessing. The important part is that the field is open in a way it has not been in a long time. TMNT itself will be fine. The Turtles have survived bigger disruptions than this. Different toy partners, different tones, different media strategies. They adapt. They always have. Playmates now has to prove it can adapt as well without leaning on the franchise that defined it for an entire generation. This is not the end of Playmates, and it is certainly not the end of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It is, however, a clear signal that the safety net is being pulled away. By the end of 2026, one side of the relationship will move on with confidence. The other will be facing its most important test in years. If nothing else, this announcement makes one thing very clear. The bigger story here is not who gets the Turtles next, is whether Playmates can stand on its own once they're gone. And I don't know about anyone else out there, but when you have a company like Playmates, that again, like this article said, it has been synonymous with the brand of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles since they released their first wave of figures back in 1988. That's a long time relationship. And what I would suggest to anyone who will collect any of their classic series of Turtles is pick them up on the shelves while you can and on the pegs while you can before they're gone. Because, some of us, I'll be honest, I still have a lot of my classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures, but, I don't know if maybe for you, Jet, or anyone else who grew up with Power Rangers, but this is kind of similar to Bandai Namco losing the license for Power Rangers when Hasbro bought the property. You have Paramount coming in. They're the owners of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, of course. And they kept the relationship when it was, Paramount Viacom. But now with Skydance Media coming in, you have Skydance looking at it saying, no, we want to go in a new direction. So we're going to end this relationship with Playmates Toys, because we think we could find a company that can do better for us. And no, I wouldn't suggest that Turtles go to Hasbro. Hasbro's already basically taken the Power Rangers brand and said, listen, we'll hold on to the property rights. Playmate, you make us the toys. And Jet says, and plus, they're not doing anything better with Power Rangers brand, but I'm just surprised Hasbro isn't going under because of them. It's cursed. Well, I mean, there are a few Hasbro brands that are probably just barely keeping them afloat right now, but even those brands aren't as strong as they used to be. You know, you think about the board games, you know, Monopoly, especially, and then, of course, you have G.I. Joe, you still have Transformers out there, and even the quality on, you know, G.I. Joe and Transformers, especially, isn't what it used to be. Yeah, but same thing happens. It's crazy how a toy company like Hasbro just passed off the manufacturing rights of the toys to Playmates recently, as of this year. Yep. Yeah. But, you know, come this time next year on the 31st, it will be an end of an era. I mean, I'll be honest, I've got into a few stores, and no, I haven't picked up any Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles every time I've gone into the store, but there have been a few I looked at and thinking, I still have the original. The only thing that I had picked up a few weeks ago was the remastered version of the classic Turtle toys, the ones that have the posability. That's the only thing I picked up. And Jet says, yeah, all these old-fashioned toys just don't sell anymore in an age of smart devices. I mean, I'll be honest, I go into my stores and there are times where you either find a lot of stock on the shelves and on the peg hooks only because it's been recently stocked, or you don't find anything at all. I mean, I was even lucky to go into my local Target and find the Back to the Future themed Transformer Gigawatt. And of course, this is actually the second time they re-released the figure. And this time they re-released it for Back to the Future's 40th anniversary. But I never got it the first time around because I couldn't find it anywhere, at least in my area until now. And to be honest, when you have companies like NECA, you also have McFarlane Toys and others, I wouldn't be surprised if one of those actually picks up the license for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I mean, I've always looked at the NECA toys and thought that they look nice, but the reviews that people give them, especially when they take them out of the packaging, some say that they're difficult to take out of their packaging and have actually had the figure break because of the quality of the plastic. So we'll just have to keep an eye on who ends up getting the toy license for the Heroes on a Half Shell, and they'll just either, like I said, pick up whatever Playmates releases as long as it's within your budget and you're interested in it, or if you're like me, hold on to those original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures that you have stored away and don't lose sight of them. But there's also one more story I did want to talk about. I mentioned it in a post on Monday, and I also talked about it a little bit last night. But this is a guy who I used to watch quite a bit and still watched him. And, you know, he had a quirky personality. but he covered so many things in his travels. And he was a big fan of Back to the Future, amongst other things like horror and, again, the theme parks. He was a big fan of Star Wars, but his real name is David Adam Williams, but he was better known on this platform, known as YouTube, as Adam the Woo. This is by C.A. Bridges. It was posted today. It says, "Who was Adam the Woo? Florida theme park YouTuber has died." It says, YouTuber, travel vlogger, and Florida resident Adam the Woo, a familiar sight at local theme parks as well as locations all over the world, has died at the age of 51. David Adam Williams was pronounced dead on Monday, December 22nd, at his home in Celebration, Florida. I'm just adding that part so you all know. A suburban of Orlando, after a friend found him unresponsive, the Osceola County Sheriff Office said in a statement to USA Today. Deputies responded to his home for a well-being check, but were unable to make contact. The Osceola County Sheriff Office said a friend later borrowed a ladder and looked in the third-story window to see a male on a bed that was not moving, the sheriff's office said. And there is Adam the Woo with Jack Black. Said, upon entering the residence with fire rescue, the male was reported deceased, the statement said. At the time of his death, Williams had more than 1 million subscribers combined across 2 YouTube channels, including a daily vlog channel that last uploaded a video on December 21st. A cause of death has not yet been determined. The medical examiner will complete an autopsy to determine the cause of death, and an investigation is ongoing. His father, Jim, who lives locally, was notified. And just to let you all know, Adam had just returned from a 1-month trip to Europe where he visited such places as Italy, Malta, and he also went to Switzerland and Paris. And let me go ahead and get the link to his 2 channels so you can all check out the channel. So I'm getting the first link right now. And let's see, does it have? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. All right, so let me get this as a clean link for everybody. And I'm putting it in the YouTube and also the Rumble side. This is for his first channel right here. And I will get his second channel, The Daily Woo. Now, you may not be interested in some of the things he covers, but I can tell you, rest assured, you will probably find something you'll like. All right, so now that both links are in the chat on YouTube and Rumble, we can continue with this article. It says Williams was born in Tupelo, Mississippi, to Jim Williams, a youth minister, and June Williams, a retired school teacher. He has a sister, Faith Murray, Williams frequently traveled with his family and shared it on YouTube. In 2009, Williams started posting videos about abandoned sites, wacky roadside attractions, and filming locations from movies and TV shows on his channel, Adam the Woo. Often in his RV Large Marge. Well, actually, that's incorrect. He didn't get his RV Large Marge until 2016. In 2009 up to 2016, he traveled in his van from location to location. After years of living in Southern California, he told viewers in 2021 he was moving to Florida after renting an apartment in Celebration the year before, near his parents. In 2023, he bought a house there. I very rarely explain what I do to people, he said in a 2014 documentary. People ask me, where do you work? What do you do? And I just say I travel around and see stuff. Williams started with urban exploration videos, but he expanded into a global travel vlogger with his second website, The Daily Woo, where he documented his daily life in Celebration and other parts of Central Florida, but also took viewers along to places like Switzerland, Rome, Amsterdam, and all 50 states, even visiting the North Korea demilitarized zone. And also, one thing he also was able to accomplish, which was his goal, was to visit all current Major League Baseball stadiums whenever the Tampa Bay Rays traveled to those stadiums. So he got to knock that off his bucket list. Williams chronicled detailed tours of theme parks all over the world, along with his weight loss efforts, family history, Starbucks spice drinks, travel issues, and unexpected adventurous side trips. He told viewers what was on his mind. In 2017, Williams said he had been banned from Universal Studios for filming inside 2 abandoned buildings that were not open to the public. His most recent videos were from his trip to Disneyland Paris, but his last one, posted on Sunday, showed Williams walking through the streets of Celebration, checking out Christmas decorations. Celebration is a suburb of Florida located near Walt Disney World. It was developed by the Walt Disney Company as a planned community in the early 1990s. And I just want to say right now to anyone who was a fan of David Adam Williams, better known as Adam the Woo, to his family and to his friends, that our thoughts and prayers are with you. And we know it comes at a hard time for his loss. And this also goes out to anyone who has lost a loved one this time of year or any time of year, because Christmas is so special to so many. And we all build memories throughout our lives. And that's one thing I hope that those of you who have lost family and the friends and family of Adam the Woo and the fans cherish are the memories that you've created with your own family and the memories that Adam documented. Like I said, it's tough to lose someone this time of year. So believe me when I say, I know what everyone is going through. who has lost so many this year, so many in previous years. And what memories mean. Because once our loved one is gone, that's all that remains. Bronson Wright Wolf. Yes, it is definitely Will Farrell's signature role, and we're about to get that movie started. So if you'd like to watch it along with us, hit that Kosmi link that's pinned to the top of the chat over on YouTube, and you can join us in watching Elf. But again, to anybody who has lost loved ones this year, in previous years, to the friends and family of Adam the Woo, may they all rest in peace and live eternally in our hearts and minds. So let me get it shared. All right. And I'm hitting play, folks. One good thing about this movie, too, is you have James Caan in it. You also have Bob Newhart in it. And also Peter Billingsley, who played Ralph Parker, is in this movie, too. It's all right. I don't mind if you want to share information that's related to the movie. I'll be right back, folks. I'm back. Got myself some eggnog. And Bronson says Will Farrell got a lot of headaches while filming this film. As you know, his character eats and drinks a lot of sugar. They did a few takes of him eating the spaghetti Sunday. The director liked it. Nice. Appreciate you giving us that information. And again, if you want to watch it with us, the Kosmi link is pinned to the top of the chat. I think Mimi better be careful he gets the Red Ryder carbon action BB gun. He might shoot his eye out. I've never liked Jack in the Boxes. I had a boss, and this is around 20 years ago, who absolutely loved this film. I mean, I'll give this movie credit for having its homages to the classic Christmas specials like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and or Santa's played by Ed Asner. It does have a good cast. He's on the lawn trek to New York City. This isn't going to go well. You're not going to get a hug, buddy. Not from a raccoon. I never saw it on the big screen. No, it wasn't a. Ah, no, don't eat the paint, dude. Probably lead in it. My first trip to New York City, I actually got to see the Empire State Building. Didn't go up it, but I did see it. And then the second time I saw it was when I was going to the New York area for WrestleMania 29. That was back in 2013. Hmm. Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, that's why you gotta look both ways before you cross. Otherwise, we could get hit by a taxi cab. Battle between Buddy and the escalator. Well, if Buddy were Clark Griswold, he'd take that. Oh, the store is closed. Buddy's gonna decorate. Mary Steenburgen. A song that you don't even hear on the radio anymore. And if you do, it's very rare. That's not what you want to do, buddy. You better make that ribbon 6 inches. Mm. Merry Christmas, right? He's a fake. Lady Miss says, nope. Tim, you're just in time to watch Elf. We just started a little bit ago. I hope your Christmas Eve has been well, and I hope you have a Merry Christmas tomorrow, brother. Geez, Tim. Eating the cotton balls. And that's John Favreau. Oh God. He ate the cotton ball with the blood on it. Yes, he does think he's an elf. Drinking a whole 2 liter of Coke. Ever done that? I've done it a few times. Oh god, it's gonna be on a sugar high. Yeah, I can definitely see how he would have gotten sick in the scene. I can definitely see how he got sick in that scene, Bronson. But he's out of his element. And Bronson says over on the Cosby side, the scene where he was in the doctor's office, the cotton balls were actually cotton candy that had the pink color taken out of them. And he also says when he drinks all that Coke, there was a tube that ran down the side of his arm to help him suck the Coke down. Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't be able to do multiple takes of him drinking the Coke without him getting sick. And You didn't mean like that, buddy. Oh, my God. Oh, God. He's putting chocolate syrup on the spaghetti. They filmed a few takes of him eating the spaghetti sundae because the director kept liking it. I think on the first take, Will Farrell threw up. I certainly would. That's not a combination I would want to even give a try. So it is. And it's Christmas Eve tonight. Look before you cross the street, buddy. Oh, it's a snowball fight. You gotta compact it. Jim Carrey was originally going to play this character in 1993. I mean, watching it now and having watched parts of it before, I can't really see Jim Carrey as Buddy Elf. Like you had said earlier, there's only one person that could be Buddy, and that's Will Farrell. Yeah, I can't see anyone else playing the live action version of the Grinch, especially with Jim Carrey, being so versatile and being so flexible and his movements and just his comedy timing. What does it look like? That's actually how I react when I drink coffee. I've never acquired a taste for it. He's looking for another place he can displace Buddy so he's out of his hair. Yes, they do. Oh God. Yeah, he's Conan's co-host, essentially, his sidekick. He's Ed McMahon. Yep. That's a rough looking 26. It's a party. Peter Dinklage. No. Uh-oh. He's not there. That's a New York thing to say. And the engine's puttering out. It looks like Bigfoot footage. Oh, if that's not ominous. Excuse me. Run, buddy, run. Remind you of anything, Lady Mist? The way I was driving in Mafia the Old Country. Ah, crap. They just got the engine good and going. And now it's completely off again. Oh, they're at 90. Oh, everybody knows. Huh. He's got a big bottle of syrup. Yeah. I miss Bob Newhart. That was fun, wasn't it? Two good movies. Get you in the spirit. And of course, with Christmas Day, at least here on the East Coast, being a few short hours away from midnight, approximately 3 hours and 28 minutes. I do appreciate everybody who was able to stop by tonight and even pop into the Kosmi link for a few moments or two. And it means a lot, on this night where everybody is, trying to be with family if they can. And again, it just means a lot that you all took a little bit time out of your day and or evening to sit back, relax, and enjoy these movies. I want to thank you, Lady Miss. I want to thank Jet Sparks. I want to thank Tim, Outlaw Bill, also Lester in San Jose. Thank you, Lester. Really appreciate it. Also, want to take the time to thank Wolvie for stopping by tonight. Merry Christmas to you, brother. Of course, I did mention Shane. Merry Christmas to you as well. But I also want to thank Bronson Wright Wolf. Try saying that 3 times fast, but Bronson Wright Wolf, thank you for stopping by. And of course, Lady Mist, thank you very much for stopping by. Jet Sparks, thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you, brother. You know, I wasn't sure what I was going to do for this stream when I was thinking about, the different streams for December. I knew I wanted to do a couple of watch parties, but as far as tonight, I wasn't sure. But I think it was a good idea to go with a double feature for tonight, and show movies that put a smile to people's face, and get them in that Christmas mood, because a lot of people have the opportunity to spend time with their family, yet there are also people who don't have anybody. And if we could just all be there for one another in some way, way or fashion, then something like this works. Just having a watch party and everybody just sitting back and doing what they need to do while listening or watching the movie. And I'm glad you were all here tonight with me. And of course, I appreciate Cash and Baron for all the times that they are on Pop Talk. We're talking about many topics, whether it's pop culture and entertainment, games, even politics. But to each and every one of you who have always stopped by the channel, thank you very much. For those of you who are new subscribers, thank you very much. And, for everyone who's been here since the beginning, thank you. And I mean that. I may not be the best content creator out there, but you know what I try to do? I just try to have a good time, because life is too short. So if you can't live life and try to find at least some part of your day to have a good time, even if it's doing something that you love. I know we all can't go out and party after a long day at work, but if you're able to stop and do something that you love, that's what counts. Again, getting back to those who have families, cherish every single moment you have with them, because those times are precious. I've mentioned before that both my parents are deceased. And there's nothing I would give to spend one more birthday with them or one more holiday with them. One more holiday with my uncles. One more holiday with my grandparents. One more day with friends who are no longer here. people I loved. And all that remains for any of us when we lose someone is our memories of them. Pictures, if we have them. Videos, if we have them. That's why I say, cherish every moment, because you don't know. None of us are guaranteed tomorrow. So cherish days like Christmas. Cherish their birthdays. Cherish your birthdays with them. When you're able to spend birthdays with them, cherish special moments with anyone who is near and dear to you. And this is what I believe. They're still with you, and they're still watching you. They're still rooting you on. You may not see them, but I swear there are days I can feel their presence. And I know this. Excuse me. I had gone to the store today to pick up a few last-minute items. And I was able to get those few last-minute items I was looking for. Thankful. And when I got to my car after paying for those items, I could have sworn, and I know, but I could have sworn, and maybe it's because I was thinking of her at the time. And my dad at the time. But sorry. But I could have sworn. And I don't care if this is out there to the world. I could have sworn I heard my mother's voice. Calling my name. Now this January, so I've been gone 5 years. But it's been 5 years since my sister and I had our last Christmas with her before she passed away. But I could have sworn that as I got to my car after paying for the stuff I needed to buy for Christmas, that I heard her voice. It's happened to me one other time. And that was after my father passed away, where could have sworn I heard his voice. And I can remember telling my mom about that. And no, I wasn't doing any drugs or anything. I could have sworn, just like today, and I could have sworn I heard her voice and saying, Michael, Mike. Well, just like my dad saying Michael. Like I said, I think back to my parents. I think back to my grandparents, my uncles. I think back to all the birthdays we had together, all the Christmases we had together, Easter, Thanksgiving. And just what a great time it was. What a great time it was to go to my grandmother's on Thanksgiving, and this is my grandmother on my dad's side, or go to my grandmother's house during Christmas, same grandmother. But having my grandmother on my mom's side there with us, my uncles, my cousins, and just enjoying time with family. And how it, how it all can change. How it never feels the same when you lose one and then another and then another. It just makes me appreciate those who actually come by and actually care. Those friends who do what they can to keep in contact, even though we all have different lives. And it's important to cherish those who you care about and who care about you. I know some might say, but I don't have anybody. You're not alone. None of us are alone. It's why, again, I try to make sure, and I know there are times I slack, and that's on me, 100% on me. But I try to acknowledge all of you guys when you come in. Now, I will admit, if somebody is talking and when we're reading an article and giving their points of view on what we just read, I can't always interrupt what they're saying and acknowledge somebody. That's why I do try to make sure I highlight each and every one of you so that you know that I know you're there. And this is why you do see me, type in the chat if, say, Baron or Cash are talking, or if we have somebody on who's a special guest, or, who's asked to be on if there's room on the panel, that I try to acknowledge you guys. Just so you know that you're not alone. And that I am paying attention. I do see you. And I appreciate you. And Lady Miss says she was checking in on you. But again, I wanted to make this month special, and that's why we did the watch parties that we did. You know, do the watch party of Santa Claus, do the watch party of A Christmas Story Christmas, which is highly underrated, in my opinion. More people need to see that. And of course, tonight, watching Ernest Saves Christmas and Elf. Just again, spend time with you and enjoy each other's company. Yes, we may live in different states and different countries, but to have a chance to spend it with all of you, it doesn't take long at all. Not in this day and age. In this day and age, doing this, we can catch up with each other pretty quick. Instantaneous. And Lady Miss with a smiley face. But I hope you all have yourselves a very Merry Christmas. And I hope for all of us, because next week is New Year's Eve, that we all have a good 2026. The 2020s haven't been fun for anybody. So let's hope for the best for all of us in 2026. And thank you all for being here. And I do want to let you know that the next stream on the channel will be tomorrow. Now, currently it's scheduled for 5 o'clock tomorrow evening. That's 5 o'clock Eastern. But I'm thinking about maybe having it a little bit earlier, maybe 2:30 Eastern time. So for anybody in the Central Time Zone, that's going to be 1 or 1:30. And for anybody on the West Coast, that'll be 11 a.m. or 11:30 a.m. Because, I was thinking, it's Christmas. My sister and I, we will be spending the time together. We went out today, of course, because she also needed to get a few last minute things, something for her kitty cat and a few other cats that come by. And so we did that. But I will be here tomorrow. Look for it around, I'm going to say just between 2 and 2:30 tomorrow. Even though it is scheduled for 5 right now. Just be prepared to see a notification if you have your notifications on that I've gone live earlier than 5. Just going to let you know that right now. On Rumble, I might just go ahead and schedule it for 2. Heck, you know what? Why just talk about it, Mike? Why don't you just change it right now while you're talking here? So that's exactly what I'm going to do. All right. So I've changed it over on the YouTube side to 2 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time. I just need to schedule it over on the Rumble side, and we'll be all set for tomorrow as I play Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the game. What better game to stream on Christmas? I mean, yeah, I could stream the Grinch, but I have to make sure that my PS3 still works. But I'm just going to go with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, especially since I was able to find it for a pretty decent price. And that's another thing about me. I'm always looking for deals. That's one thing that my parents taught me. Look for deals. But everybody, thank you again. And remember, don't ever give up on me in a game, because just when you do, you might miss something. And I'm not just a baseball guy, I'm an all-around guy. And may you all have a happy Wednesday evening and a Merry Christmas. I love you all.
Autobots, transform and roll out!